Welcome to this, your spiral class activity, okay, which is going to be graded. So I'm going to walk you through every step of the way, I hope. But if I think that you already know this, then forget it, you're on your own. Some of this you don't have in your packet, so you're going to have to rely on this one, but the rest you could find on the other Regents Prep parts, okay? So let's start with this. It says the following. Alright, here we go. When solving the equation 12x squared minus 7x equals 6 minus 2 times x squared minus 1, Evan wrote 12x squared minus 7x equals 6 minus 2x squared plus 2. As his first step, which property justifies this step? Well, look at this. What's here that is not here? Well, negative 2 times, and you have parentheses, which is basically a sign of distribution. Look at this. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Then negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. This is, okay, distributive property. So the answer is distributive property. Got that? Okay. It doesn't say to explain, so I'm not going to explain in writing. I did already explain to you. Alright, the product of radical 576 and radical 684 is, and then you have the choices: irrational because both factors are irrational, rational because both factors are rational, irrational because one factor is irrational, and rational because one factor is rational. Alright, first of all, if both are irrational, we don't even know what the answer is, so we are going to figure it out. So let's see. To get, let me zoom out. Alright, like that. So to get radical 76. So second, we're going to press second key, and then look, the x squared. Because you see in blue is the square root sign right here. You see it. Okay. So now, 576. What do I know? That the square root of 576 is 24, so that is rational. Okay, so 576 is equals 24 equals rational. Now let's try the other one. All right, square root of 684. Square root of okay, 684. And it's some weird number. Once the calculator gives you a number with point something 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 and like 7 numbers, 2, 4, 6, then that number is irrational. Okay, so then 684 square root, okay, radical 684 equals 26.15, 33, 93, 66, so on and so forth. Therefore, this one is irrational. Remember, rational is anything that is a nice number, anything that can be turned into a fraction. Like 24 over 1 is a fraction, so therefore it's rational. 3 over 2, 1/2, and all those, right? Or a repeating decimal like 0.33333, that's rational. Irrational is a number that does not end and does not repeat. When I say does not repeat, doesn't mean that you cannot have 6, 6. No. It means that they all don't repeat like 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. No, it doesn't work like that. All right. So what do I know? Let's look at the choices. Irrational because both factors are irrational. No, both factors are not irrational. One is rational and the other one is irrational. Second one, rational. Okay. First of all, let us multiply both so we could see. So radical, let me see. Okay, right there. You see that number? Do you think it's rational or irrational? Correct, it's irrational. 6, okay, so when we multiply them, see that? So this product is irrational. What do I know? I know that the product of a rational number, okay, R times I, in other words, rational times irrational, will always be irrational. Okay? If you have a rational times a rational, you're going to get rational. If you have an irrational times an irrational, like square root of 3 is irrational. If you multiply it by itself, you're going to get the square root of 9. And then you get 3. So the product of two irrationals could be both. Could be either. But the product of a rational and an irrational, it has to be irrational. So it's going to be irrational because one factor is irrational. You're not going to say that it's going to be rational because one factor is rational. I mean, duh, we don't know that. And it's not rational anyways. We're talking about this number. All right. Okay. Which order pair would not be a solution to y equals x to the third minus x? So one way to do this is you can have, this is called x and this is y. X, y, x, y, x, y. You could input the x like -4 to the third power minus -4 and you're going to get a number. And that number, if it's -60, it works. Again, we're looking for the one that would not be a solution. Me, I'm kind of, since it's multiple choice, but I have to explain, right? Me, what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to press y equals, okay? I'm not going to do the whole thing for you. I'm just going to show you how to do it. I'm going to press y equals, and then I am going to put the equation there. So x, let's see better. Oops, sorry. Okay, like that. All right. So I press x to the third, 3, okay, move over, minus x. So then you have it. So that's going to be the graph. Now, look, press second and activate the table. Okay, it doesn't matter what calculator you're using, this one works the same way. And now check, you see when x is -4, I get y to be -60. See that? When x is -3, I get -24, which works. And then you check and you'll see which one doesn't belong. So, explain. You could write, but you have to write something. I use the calculator to graph the function. Then I went to the table and checked for x being -1, -2, -3, and -4. And I found out that the answer is, okay, the one that would not be a solution is, okay, that's how it works. Another way that you could do is, I substituted each value of x into the function and found out that when x equals, and I'm not gonna tell you, right, when x equals one of these, then y equals, okay, then y equals some number. Therefore, it is not a solution. Okay? Therefore, it is not a solution to the equation or to the function. Got that? Okay, then let's move on. Remember, you gotta do this. Okay, don't be just writing this and leaving this blank, because that means you didn't do it. Okay, which expression is equivalent to y to the fourth minus 100? Well, you have y to the fourth minus 100. I don't have a middle term, so I'm gonna write the middle term. Y to the fourth, okay, plus 0y, sorry, because we're dealing with y, plus 0y minus 100. That's one way of doing it. So now let's factor. So let's see. Factors of y to the fourth are y squared and y squared. Factors of negative 100 are 10. Well, factors of 100 are 10 and 10. What do I need in the middle? 0, right? So then 10y squared, 10y squared. So I need one to be positive, one to be negative. That works for you? Now, another way that you could say it is the following, and this one is the mostly used. Okay, y to the fourth minus 100. I know that both of them have perfect square roots, so this is the difference of two squares. So this is the difference, and actually I rather this explanation, difference, okay, of two squares. Therefore, okay, and I open the parenthesis, factors of y to the fourth are y squared and y squared. Okay, or the square root of y to the fourth is y squared, so you put it in both. The square root of 100 is 10, so boom, 10, 10. One positive, one negative, and we're done. So that was version 1 of this assessment. So make sure that you have everything. And now I'm gonna do version 2 for those who need version 2. Everything is gonna be in the same video. All right. So what does it say here? It says the graph of y equals x squared minus 3 and y equals 3x minus 4 intersect approximately. Okay, explain how you know. All right, once again, this I'm gonna show you how to do it if you were doing it on the calculator. All right, you would take each of these values and see if they work for both equations. So for example, I'm just gonna do one of them and then you get the hang of it. Okay, get out of there. So the first one is y equals x squared minus 3. So when I put 0.38, okay, I'm gonna use x being 0.38 and I should get y equals negative 2.85. So x squared, that would be 0.38, okay, 0.38, okay, 0.38 square, okay, minus 3. And look what I get. I get negative 2.85. So this one checks on this equation. Now let me try the second one. So it's gonna be 2.62 squared, okay, because that's x squared, minus 3. Oh wow, 3.86. Did I do it right? 2.62. Okay, so I get 3.86. I guess this is an estimate. So okay, now let me try them on the other equation, 3x minus 4. So let's try the first choice. 3 times, okay, I need to focus a little more on this, so I'm gonna go and all right, here we go. What was that? Oh yeah, it's this one. So 3 times x is 0.38, okay, minus 4. And look, I get negative 2.86, and here 2.85. I guess it's an estimate, so this works. So this works for both of them. So this is one of the solutions. Okay, now let me try this one. 3 times 2.62, okay, minus 4. Oh my God, I get 3.86, or the estimate will be 3.85. So wait, these and these are solutions. So then, which one is the right choice? Oh my God. So this is the correct choice. All right, I like that. Now please don't make mistakes. Look, the points are actually backwards in here. If you put this, you're not gonna get this. I'm just telling you that. Alright, let's move on. Which polynomial is twice the sum of, and then you have this numbers right here. Alright, first I will have to add them up. So let's see, let's add like terms. 4x squared minus 6x squared, or plus negative 6x squared is 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Negative 2 x squared, okay. And then negative x plus x is 0. And then 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Okay? So now, which polynomial is twice this sum? Okay, you got it? All right then. So now let's move on to the next problem. Remember, twice this sum. Twice the sum of this. Okay? What are the solutions to the equation 3 times x minus 4 and then square equal 27? All right then. So first, let us actually understand what's going on here. There are two ways of doing this. We could substitute this, each of the choices, and we come up with an answer, or we solve the equation. So let us solve the equation. Remember, before distributive property, you have to square this. So in reality, you have 3 times x squared, okay, minus 8x plus 16, okay, equaling 27. Remember that x minus 4, and then the whole thing to the second power is x minus 4 times x minus 4. All right, now let's multiply this by 3. 3x squared minus 24x, okay, plus 48 equal 27. Quadratic equations are supposed to be set equal to 0, right? So I am going to subtract 27 from both sides, okay? So I end up with 3x squared minus 24x, okay? And now what is 48 minus 27? That's 21. So plus 21 equals 0. And now you could use the quadratic formula. You could factor. You could you could try to factor. Actually, there is a factor. Look, the greatest common factor here is 3. 3 times x squared. Then this divided by 3 is 8. 8x. This divided by 3 is 7. Okay. Then 3. Then I'm gonna open parentheses. And you do the rest. Remember, is equal to 0, so you have to make it equal. At the end, you have to equal the factors to 0, and then you put x equals blah or x equals blah. If you don't like this, then you could use the quadratic formula from this step on. All right? Cool then. Let's move on to the next problem. The value of x which makes this true is, well, the one thing I'm going to tell you is the following. You could solve this equation mathematically, algebraically, or you could substitute each of these values, okay? If you substitute negative 10 over here, remember, you should get the same value here and the same value here. You substitute negative 10 here. And the same thing goes for each of them. Me, I'm lazy. Those of you who know how to do it on the calculator, which I explained before in one of the videos, then you could just basically do that. All right. So let me multiply through. Let's see, I'm going to use the distributive property. So I'm going to get 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 4 is 12, so is 2 over 12 x. And then 2 over 3 times negative 2 is negative 4 over 3. That equals, and now I'm going to use the distributive property here. So 1 times 4 is 4 over 5 times 3 is 15 x minus anything times 1 is itself, so 1 times 1 is 1 over 5. So it is, where was I? Okay, so now I have this equation. So what I'm gonna do is the following. I can actually, let me see if I can simplify some of this. Yeah, I can simplify this one. 2 over 12 is the same thing as 1 over 6, right? So I'm gonna rewrite it. 1 over 6x minus 4 over 3 equals 4 over 15, I don't know how to simplify that, minus 1 over 5. I can definitely try to solve, like to add these things using arithmetic, but I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the common denominator between 6, 3, and 15. Okay? So watch this. I think I know how to do it. If I don't know how to do it, then I'm not gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna go to math, numbers, let me see, greatest common, lowest common, least common, maximum, greatest common, okay, greatest common divisor, I think that's what it is. Let me see, LCD, that's it. Okay, I think it's this one. So between 6, comma, and 15. Let's see. Okay, that's not greatest common divisor. Now that's the greatest common factor. Let me try again. No. Ups. The remainder. What else? No. And no, it didn't work. Okay, cool then. So I'm gonna have to do it by hand. Alright, so I am going to multiply by, okay, between 6 and 15. Where do they meet in the times tables? Well, 15 times 2 is 30, and 6 times 5 is 30. Right? Yes. Okay, so I am going to basically multiply by, let's see, 30, 15. Well, let me play the game down to 1. So let me see, 6 and 15. Can I divide by 3? Yes. So I get that, and I get 5. I get 2. Divide by 2, I get 1. Divide by 5, I get 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Times 30. Okay, there's no way around it. I'm gonna have to multiply everything by 30. Oh, okay. So now when I multiply everything by 30, let's see what happens. 30 divided by 6 is 5 times 1 is 5, so I get 5x. 30 divided by 3 is 10 times 4, 40, so this is 40 equals 30 divided by 15 is 2 times 4 is 8x. 30 divided by 5 is 6 times 1 is 6, and now I got a nice juicy equation. And now I have, let me see, no more fractions, variables on both sides. Yes, so I'm gonna subtract 5x from both sides. So I end up with negative 40 equals to 3x because I subtracted 5x from both sides. Okay, and now I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I get negative 34 equals 3x. Then I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. Okay, yes, okay. And now what is negative 34 divided by 3? Let's see. Negative 34 divided by 3. Negative 11.3333333333. So boom, boom, boom. X equals negative 11.33333. Now I decided to solve it to show some work. You could just actually just plug it in here, and you will see that you're gonna get the same response on both sides. And then some of you already know how to solve equations in here. You press math, you go to equation solver, and then you just input this on one side and this on the other, and you're good to go. So this is version number 2. Now let's go into version number 3. I'm only gonna do 4 versions, I think. So here, determine all the zeros algebraically. So let me give you the quadratic formula just in case. So this is the quadratic formula. Now all you have to do is identify A, B, and C. So here A is 1. B is the one that multiplies the x to the first power, the linear term. So B equals -4. C equals 3. And of course, negative B right here will be the opposite of B. So in this case, it will be +4. All right. That's if you want to use the quadratic formula. You just put this in there and you're going to get two values. Okay. X equals something, X equals something else. Now you could factor. Okay. So how are you going to factor? All quadratic equations are equal to 0. So in this case, they are already equal to m of x. So m of x is like saying 0. How do you factor this? Well, first you see if you have a greatest common factor. I see that you don't. Then you proceed to open the parentheses. See that? Factors of x squared, x and x. Factors of 3, blah, 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 blah. Remember that it's supposed to equal to 0, so then you have to equal each of the factors to 0. And then you figure out what the values of x are. You got that? Cool then. Okay, next question. The distance traveled is equal to the rate of speed multiplied by the time traveled. So distance is equal to the speed multiplied by the time traveled, right? Okay, if the distance is measured in feet and the time is measured in minutes, then the rate of speed is expressed in which units? Explain how you arrived at your answer. Well, they're talking about the rate of speed, so they want actually s. So how do I solve for s? Well, what is speed? Miles per hour, right? So distance over time. So in other words, just take the t or divide both sides by t, however you want to look at it. Give it back by t, boom, it was multiplying, now it goes dividing. So s equals to, okay, d over t. All right then. So now the rate of speed. Look, the rate of speed is expressed in feet per minute. In feet per minute. In feet per minute. That is how you are going to write it. Feet per minute. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay. If the zeros of a quadratic functions are -3 and 5, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? Sure. Look, this is a parabola, right? Right? The axis of symmetry is the one that chops the parabola in half, right? Now, the axis of symmetry is because it's in between all the values that go to the left and all the values that go to the right. These values, okay, are symmetric, the same distance from the axis of symmetry. All right? So then if that is the case, then we could say that the average between this side, this value on this side, and this value on this side should yield the equation of the axis of symmetry, or at least the x value that belongs to the axis of symmetry. So let's say -3, right? So this is negative, let's say this is -3 and this is a +5. Okay, so that means that your axis, let me see, -3. So let's say you have your x and y axis are somewhere in here. Okay, y axis, x axis. So this is -3 for x, and here is +5 for x, because these are the zeros. Got it? These are the solutions. So then let's find out what the average is. This is something new, and please don't ever forget it. -3 plus 5 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the axis of symmetry, the equation of the axis of symmetry is x equal 1. Okay, AOS, let's put it like this. AOS, axis of symmetry, is x equal 1. Okay, now the other way, of doing that is basically turning the equation into vertex form. How do I do that? Well, if x is equal to -3 and x is also equal to 5, those are the solutions. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find the equation of the line. Remember, the factors are always equal to 0, and that's how you get this. So then let's set each of these equal to 0. Let's work backwards. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Okay? And I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. All of a sudden now you have the factors. Okay, now what? Multiply them. Okay, so x squared plus 8x minus 15. And this is not 8x, this is 3 minus 5 is 2. So it goes like this. -2. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is oh, by the way, equals 0. Well, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this into vertex form. How? By using the completing the square form. So let's see, separate these two, so I get x squared minus 2x. all right, and then separate them, and I also put the 15 like that, and then equals 0. Now I'm gonna create a PST, a perfect square trinomial, by taking half of the linear term, which is -1, and squaring it, which is +1. And what you give, you must take. And now this PST I'm gonna turn into a BS, binomial square. So then I take the x and I take the number that I squared, okay, which was -1, and then add this, and there you go. The axis of symmetry is the opposite of this number, right? So the axis of symmetry is x equal 1. Perfect explanation. Here you're gonna have to explain in words what I said. Here you could just leave this and it's understood. All right. Part of Jennifer's work to solve the equation was blah 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 blah. Question: which property justifies this step, the first step? And it is the distributive property. Okay, distributive property. Because look, 2 times 6x squared is 12x squared. 2 times -3 is -6. You see, the distributive property was used in here. So distributive property, because, and then you say 2 times what? 6x squared equals 12x squared, and 2 times -3, okay, is -6. And that is the end of version number 3. Let's go into version number 4. It says the graph of the function is given below. All right. So the question is this: could the factors of f of x be x plus 2 and x minus 3? Based on the graph, explain why or why not. Well, let's find out what the zeros are here. The zeros are -2. Okay, so x is -2. Zeros. I'm gonna write zeros. Zeros are, okay, x equals -2 and x equals, I have no idea, 1, 2, 3. This is the x-intercept, so 3. X equals 3. So now let's go backwards. Let's see if we can write the equation of the line. We're not gonna get as far as that because they just want us to know, to determine whether these are factors. So let's see. From the solution to go back to the factors, I must equal this to 0. So how do I equal this to 0? Add 2 to both sides, correct? And here I will subtract 3 from both sides. And my friends, look, so these could be factors, definitely yes. So now what are you going to write? You're going to write the following. You could write yes. Okay. Yes. If the zeros, okay, if the zeros are -2 and 3, then the factors are x plus 2 and x minus 3. Got it? Cool then. Do I have another version that I need to go over? I didn't want to go over this, but I guess I can't help it. What does it say? What does it say? What does it say? Okay. What is the value of f of 8? So what you're gonna do is just substitute 8, okay, f of x. That means that f is a function of x. Got it? All right. What? Yeah, f is a function of x, or x is a function of f. Anyways, the thing is this. F of x, and they ask you for f of 8. So instead of x, now you're gonna replace that with 8. And that's all you gotta do. So then, how do you do that? Well, f of x equals, and then 1/2 times x squared, which in this case is 8, okay? And in this case, I'm gonna change the f of x to f of 8. All right, so 8 to the second power minus, okay, 1/4 times 8, okay, plus 3. See that? And then you start computing. 8 squared is 64. 64 times 1 is 64. Divided by 2 is 32. Okay, minus, and then look, it's not that difficult. All right. Which situation does not describe a causal relationship? Not casual, causal. All right. Meaning what? What is one? Causal means that one thing causes the other to happen. Like for example, if I slap you, it's gonna hurt. See that? So it hurts because I slap you. The more you drive, the more gas you burn. That one causes the other. The rooster crows and the sun rises. No, that's not causal, because the sun is still gonna rise whether the rooster falls asleep or not. Got it? So then now you can answer this question. And what is the solution to this inequality? Sure. Let's see. Do I have distributive property? No. Do I have fractions? Yes. Multiply the whole thing by the common denominator? Sure. So that would be 9. That 9 is the only denominator. 2 plus 4/9x greater than or equal to 4 plus x times 9. Remember? Okay, so now let's multiply by 9. So 9, distributive property, right? 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, 9 cancels with this 9, so that's only 4. So plus 4x greater than or equal to 36 plus 9x. That's using the distributive property. Now I have variables on both sides, so I'm gonna get rid of one of them. So I'm gonna subtract 4x from both sides. Now I am going to subtract 36 from both sides, and then I'm gonna divide by 5, and you're gonna get your answer. Okay, Gucci. Okay, version 6. Jesus Christ. So the graph below models the cost of renting video games with a membership in Plan A and Plan B. Explain why Plan B is the better choice for Dylan if he only has $50 to spend on video. Sorry, on video games. Ha 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 ha. Including a membership fee. Bobby wants to spend $65 on video games, including a membership fee. Which plan should he choose? Explain your answer. All right, so first of all, let's take a look at the graph. Okay, so here you have plan A, and they intersect right here. Plan B, and they intersect right here. That means that at this point, both plans have the same cost. Okay, cost and number of games. So at this point, you have 17. No, what is this? 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. At this point, you have 20 games and a cost of I don't know, 65, 70, $65. Okay, this goes up by 5 and this goes by 2, so that's how I know. All right, so why plan B is better choice for Dylan? Well, Dylan has $50, right? So what can $50 get you? This is $50. So here you only get 12 games with $50 in plan A. But here is plan B. You get what? 10, 12. You get 14 games. So which one is the better choice? Oh, Dylan can buy 14 games with plan B, and only 12 with plan A. So Dylan, or plan B is the better choice because Dylan can buy 14 games with plan B and only 12 games with plan A. Listen to me. Don't say, oh, you're moving the paper too fast, whatever. I'm dictating to you and you are listening to what I'm saying. All right? So that's it. All right. Now, Bobby wants to spend $65 on video games. All right, so, well, he wants to spend $65 on video games, including a membership fee. All right, cool then. So, including the membership fee, he wants to spend $65. So, which plan should he choose? Explain your answer. Well, let's take a look at this. Where is $65? $65 is right here. Okay, what do I know about $65? I don't know. Let's see which one is the better plan. Look, they both intersect right here. When they intersect, that means that they both have the same order pairs. That means that for both lines, this is nothing more than 20, 65. Meaning that he could spend $65 and he's gonna get 20 games with either plan A or plan B. So what you're gonna be writing is, it does not matter. Okay, I'm dictating to you. It does not matter, as he can rent 20 games under either plan. Got it? That's what you do. All right. So this is it. The other versions that you choose, basically they are on the other packet. So I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.